All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them.
You don't have to experiment to know what it's about, you know?
So you're saying your music, in a sense, some of it's a warning?
Yes. Yes.
Tell me, I think people are curious how a guy, you've sold how many records?
28 million.
And made millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
How do you end up in here?
I think everyone who's watching knows how I ended up in here.
Well, the industry is full of homo hating ass. You know what I mean? It's like they got this new breed of rapper that's paying DJs to play they.
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying? They sucking the record label executive dicks, and it's like there's too much of that going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let me be me. Let me be the artist that I am and just play my music.
The objective is to keep you blind. So along with the handcuffs in your arms, they got shackles on your mind. Seek and you shall find.
There is no Illuminati. It's just a joke. It's just something that crazy people talk about. There's no such thing as our side and God's side.
For years, people have been whispering about it. DMX passed away far too soon. His interviews kept disappearing from the internet. The official story about his death never seemed to make sense. The timing of his passing, right when he was openly speaking about corruption in the music industry, looked a little too convenient. Most of the public accepted the official narrative, a troubled rapper with addiction issues meeting a tragic but predictable end. But what if what we've been told was carefully built to hide the real story? DMX wasn't just another victim of fame. He was targeted because he knew too much and spoke too openly. When powerful people have billions of dollars on the line, a heart attack at 50 can suddenly look like a useful outcome. Interviews vanish. Evidence is buried. The same story gets repeated until it becomes truth. Now, with Diddy facing federal charges and JC's business empire under investigation, everything DMX once said, the things that seemed wild, is being proven right before our eyes. The real question isn't was DMX silenced? It's how many other truth-tellers were removed to protect the same guilty players. Tonight, we're showing you the interviews they never wanted you to see. The mainstream media wants you to believe DMX was just another troubled star who couldn't handle fame. But what if everything DMX predicted about the music industry now unfolding in courtrooms across America was exactly what he warned us about?
You don't have to experiment to know what it's about, you know?
So you're saying your music, in a sense, some of it's a warning?
Yes. Yes.
Tell me, I think people are curious how a guy, you've sold how many records?
28 million.
And made millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
How do you end up in here?
I think everyone who's watching knows how I ended up in here.
I don't know if they do.
I'm pretty sure they do. Anytime you get it, I'm pretty sure they do. You know, there's how do I end up in here? You know what? I'm gonna look at it in a positive light and say that I came here to meet somebody. Don't know who it was, but I'll know him when I see him, and I came here to give him a message. And that message is Jesus loves him. You know what I'm saying? I came here to give him the word. That's why I'm here. Regardless of what it looks like, you know, regardless of what people think, that's why I'm here. I came here to meet somebody and tell them about the glory of God.
Listen carefully to how DMX speaks. That's not rambling, it's calculated, deliberate. He's connecting dots that took the rest of us years to understand. He says he went to prison because of someone's setup. Now he's looking for other victims of the same scheme, who had the power to orchestrate plots like this. Who benefited when a rising artist got sidelined or sent to prison? DMX is clearly saying his incarceration wasn't random. It was a strategic elimination by people in the industry who saw him as a threat. And take note, he's not just talking about himself. He's trying to build a case for how artists who refuse to play the game get systematically targeted. This story becomes even sharper when you look at the facts. DMX was dominating a Def Jam. His albums were selling huge numbers. His fan base was rock solid. He was on track to become one of the biggest artists of all time. Then Jay-Z got promoted.
Finish the album, shoot the video. So what happened? Go on vacation and, you know, we don't know. What you mean you don't know? How do you listen to a whole album, pick a single, shoot a video, then don't know? Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. You know, because at first you retire, you know, then get me off the label. Now you back.
Hear this. DMX finished his 6th album, fully recorded, ready to release, and then silence. Suddenly, the studio doors closed. Jay-Z, who once called on DMX constantly, completely cut him off the moment the album was done. This wasn't about artistic differences or bad scheduling. This was calculated sabotage. Jay-Z saw that DMX's album would overshadow everything he was working on. Instead of competing fairly, he just buried the project. Think about it. You finish your life's work, you're eager to share it with the world, and the person meant to support you wipes you out from the industry overnight. And DMX wasn't the only one to notice this pattern. A hidden network of artists has been battling this system for decades, often at enormous personal cost.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them. End quote.
We all love Dave Chappelle.
Exactly. Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people like us.
Yeah.
But now it's not necessary for us to store up that hornet's nest unless we intend to get stung 1,000,000 times. I didn't understand that. They had to sting me 1,000,000 times. I'm still not going to join, but I respect it a little more.
Comedian Katt Williams recently confirmed it all. He's been fighting the same forces that targeted DMX and has paid a heavy price for refusing to compromise. He even mentioned Dave Chappelle, another artist who walked away from enormous money rather than give up his integrity. This isn't paranoia. It's pattern recognition from people who've lived inside the machine and know exactly how it works.
Business plays this Jedi mind trick on you, where the whole thing's set up to be rapacious and take advantage of your weakness. If you get success and you have leverage, they'll get out of your way because you're making them a lot of money. But the minute you're not making them as much money, then they step in and they start playing these Jedi mind tricks on you. We know what to do. You know, the public's gonna forget about you. I mean, I've heard all these things, like, you know, this kind of weird, like, yeah, you're in the room, but, you know, we're the arbiter of whether you can stay in the room. They do these 360 deals where it's like,
Right.
if you get a perfume deal, if you,
Yeah.
like, your whole world,
They own you.
we own a piece of your whole world. And fame is such a great quotient in American life now that you can see where kids would trade fame and give and be willing to give away like the profit part. Look no further than the deals that the record labels cut with the streaming services. They got into ownership equity deals with the streaming services in an arrangement for them to have an equity position. They agreed to very low rates for the artist's music. But as Spotify and the other streaming services raise up in their equity position, the labels benefit. So the labels pimped out their own artists to take a greater equity position in a rising business.
One thing that did happen during the 60s was some music of an unusual or experimental nature did get recorded and did get released. Now look at who the executives were in those companies at those times. Not hip young guys. These were cigar-chomping old guys who looked at the product that came and said, I don't know. Who knows what it is? Record it, stick it out. If it sells, all right. We were better off with those guys than we are now with the supposedly hip young executives. And he's saying, well, we can't take a chance on this because it's just simply, that's not what the kids really want, and I know. You know, and they got that attitude. And the day you get rid of that attitude and get back to, who knows? Take a chance, you know, that entrepreneurial spirit where even if you don't like or understand what the record is that's coming in the door, the person who is in the executive chair may not be the final arbiter of taste of the entire population.
Here's proof of how the machine really works. They don't just take your music, they take your entire life. These 360 deals give them control over everything you create, every dollar you earn, every decision you make. When DMX began exposing this system, he wasn't just threatening individual careers, he was threatening a multi-billion-dollar exploitation network operating in plain sight for decades. And the deeper you look, the clearer it gets. It's not just about money. DMX was exposing something far more disturbing, the spiritual side of industry control.
Beyonce's ex-drummer of 7 years, she is seeking a restraining order against Beyonce. She's accusing her of dark magic, witchcraft, tapping into her phone bill, and basically controlling her finances, harassing her. She's saying the Beyonce camp is put up a huge harassment campaign against her, and it's overall witchcraft. She sought a restraining order in the past. It got denied, and she has another one scheduled for October 11th, but the internet is just like, what? Excuse me?
Remember when Beyonce's drummer tried to warn the public about witchcraft and was laughed at? But even Beyonce herself has admitted to being possessed by a spirit called Sasha Fierce during performances. This isn't just a figure of speech. This is literal spiritual possession being used as a career
The
tactic.
things that the devil does. It's not so much a person, even though he acts through people. You know, you can't call one person the devil.
Joe Arpaio?
You know, you can't call any one person the devil. You can't do that because no one person has enough power to be the devil. You know, and you know, it's through all these hardships that I realized that, you know what, this is God's country because I met the devil here. Because if I hadn't met the devil here, I wouldn't realize I was strong enough to overcome the obstacles that the devil would place in my path. And it's by overcoming these obstacles that I realized that this is God's country. Because he helped me get over these obstacles.
This is what helped DMX understand that Diddy and Jay-Z weren't simply business partners. They were running a full system designed to spiritually compromise artists in exchange for success. What some dismiss as religious ranting is actually DMX decoding the spiritual contracts artists sign without realizing what they're giving up. This is why his stance never changed inside, prison, or out. Once you see the spiritual battle behind the industry, you can't unsee it. DMX wasn't just exposing bad individuals. He was showing the entire framework of how young artists are deceived, controlled, and exploited.
I think it's a conspiracy against me, you know, because in the absence of the truth will prevail. So as long as nobody out there spitting real, you know, you can come up with anything and it'll sell, you know what I'm saying? But once you put the truth out there, it's like people have something to compare everything else to. So, you know, you got a lot of people who are not really happy about the fact that, you know, my album is about to drop. You know, they're not really happy about, you know, Lord, give me a sign. And, you know, we in here and, you know, things of that nature. But you know what? If you want to rap or sing or whatever, don't become a part of the game. You know what? Listen to a song I called The Industry. And that pretty much explains, you know what I'm saying, what this is about. The industry. Man, it's not the same. The industry, it's not a game. The industry, real is dying to get in the industry just to find they don't fit in. The industry ain't what it used to be. The industry's trying to control the way you MC. They want you to dress like this and talk like that, but I'm going to dress like this and talk with the gap. The industry got y'all word meaning nothing. The industry, what you heard, because he's bluffing. The industry, money, hate, but I dare you to try to take a thing off my plate. The industry like, wait, but in the streets be like, get him. 17 up in that thing, catch him sleeping, hit him. My pop webs with him. The coroner's coming to get him. Industry.
This is investigative journalism, wrapped in street wisdom. DMX is laying out exactly how they lure young, hungry artists with promises of fame and fortune, only to trap them in contracts that legally enslave them for life. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. And until then, family, stay real.